Have you remote viewed Antarctica yet?
Oh, I have. And that's where another remote viewer kicked me out.
Oh.
Like, he found me and I was like,
Yeah, they don't mess around there.
they do not mess around.
Hold up. You mean to tell me that they found a 30-million-year-old old world under the Antarctic ice? Now, this discovery was by geologist Stuart Jamerson, and he said they had rivers, forests, and even palm trees.
Government may have captured someone from beyond the ice wall.
So the government captured one of these native Antarctic people, or Agarthians as you call them.
16, shortly after arriving, he became seriously unwell and had to be emergency evacuated straight to New Zealand. While he was there, a tweet appeared on his account saying, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself."
Welcome back to another episode of Jtali Reacts, bringing you the highest vibrations on YouTube. I got a dope video lined up for you today as we dive into the secrets of Antarctica. Is Antarctica a giant ice wall, the roof to an ancient civilization, or just a giant patch of ice? Well, today, we're going to find out. If you're new to Jtali Reacts, welcome. Here, we're decoding the simulation, one reaction at a time. If you want to unlock the cheat codes to life, smash subscribe. Let's jump right into the first clip. Here we go.
Bunger leans forward in amazement. His eyes have caught a sudden and unbelievable change in scenery. The universal white has turned to chocolate brown, dotted with blue. A cameraman goes into action. 300 square miles of land without snow. Land that might be in New Mexico or Arizona. Pictures alone will prove Bunger has discovered a warm oasis in the shadow of the pole. It is for such supreme moments as this that men brave the hardships of exploration. The astounding, undreamed of fact is that they are over a chain of warm water lakes whose shores, except for small patches, are free of ice and snow. Commander Bunger circles the largest lake in sight, 5 miles long. He comes in to make a landing. Water temperatures must be recorded. Samples taken. He finds the water fresh. The temperature 38 degrees Fahrenheit. On the shores are vast deposits of coal and of minerals of the utmost importance to civilization.
Mountain ranges with peaks 20,000 feet above sea level. The trimetric lenses, clicking overlapping exposures every 3 seconds, photograph from horizon to horizon. Coal, a mountain of coal. Byrd later declares Antarctic mines, if once tapped, could supply the world's coal needs for centuries. These official motion pictures can give only a cross-section of the miles of photographic records accumulated on this expedition by the Navy. The exposed mapping film will take 5 years to assemble. Amplifying these are the radar magnetic detectors, accurately recording mineral discoveries of immense value for the future use of all mankind. England, Norway, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, South American countries, and Soviet Russia are claiming Antarctic territory. The United States recognizes no claim, and so far has made no formal claims for itself. But international policies cannot concern the Admiral now. His duty is to keep his flying laboratories functioning, to fulfill his dream of a lifetime.
So apparently that was colorized footage from Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump. Pretty cool, right? Do you think it's real? Let me know in the comments.
Hold up. You mean to tell me that they found a 30-million-year-old old world under the Antarctic ice? Now, this discovery was by geologist Stuart Jamerson, and he said they had rivers, forests, and even palm trees. Now, this study began in 2017 when the team started drilling in a seabed to extract sediment from the ecosystem buried beneath the ice. But it doesn't stop there, because scientists has also discovered strange radio signals coming from beneath the ice as well. Now, according to this release, the reason Antarctica was the site for these experiments was due to little to no interference from other radio waves. However, the researchers found radio waves transmitting from underneath the ice. Now, with all that being said, isn't it weird that Hitler himself had an expedition to Antarctica in 1938? Where not only he researched and did experiments, but also claimed a piece of the region called New Swaba. Not to mention, Hitler didn't die where they said he died. He actually fled to Argentina in the declassified CIA documents showing this, where Argentina could be a jump point for Antarctica, but that's just a theory. And if you didn't know, just to add layers to this ice wall, there's actually a Rothschild Island in Antarctica. I mean, isn't it funny, with wars and so many disagreements across nations, we could all agree on the Antarctic Treaty, in which is an international agreement between all nations for Antarctica to only be used for peaceful purposes and scientific research only. Could it be that this old world actually looks something like this? Being that there's a treaty in place and you just can't catch a flight down there, I think there's definitely something they're hiding. By the way, I made these videos with AI, so make sure you get into my community where you learn how to prompt engineer whatever you want. So the question is, what are they hiding from us? What are those sounds? And is there really an old world? But what do you guys think is going on in Antarctica? Let me know below.
So are they just trying to get ahead of it? Most of us already know Admiral Byrd's story was true when he flew down into a hole in Antarctica and found the inner Earth people. Let's jump back in.
Wait till you hear what Mr. Beast just said about Antarctica and the ice wall on Aiden Ross's live stream. I want you to pay attention to his body language as well, guys.
Wait, have you ever been to Antarctica? Yeah. Do you believe in the ice wall?
Yeah, I saw the ice wall.
Well,
Yeah, he saw it too.
I can't say on stream.
No way, but
We'll talk about it later.
That's
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
See how he tightened up and got all nervous and then went on to say that he can't talk about what he saw on live stream. Now, why is that? Don't you find it interesting that for the first time in recorded history, every single nation in the world came together, put aside their differences, and agreed upon one thing? They agreed that Antarctica would mark the only global treaty that's ever been done. A place of peace where there's no borders, just mystery. And if you try to go independently explore Antarctica, you'll be met with military. So what is it that they're hiding? I'm going to show you a clip of the last man that explored Antarctica and what he had to say about this place.
Explored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America.
But we claim that there was more lands beyond the South Pole. Well, what's interesting about this is when we look at old maps, they always depict more lands beyond Antarctica. Antarctica is not what you've been told. It's a 360-degree ice wall that encompasses our stationary Earth. It contains the oceans because water needs a container. It is an ice wall, just like they mentioned in the stream. And this is what that ice wall looks like. And many people, just like myself and Mr. Beast, obviously know that there are lands beyond. That's why there's a treaty here. They don't want us discovering it. They want us staying in this literal matrix here they trap us in. This is the United Nations logo. This is a flat Earth map with Antarctica around us, encompassing our stationary Earth. There's also 33 individual sections to this logo, guys, marking 33 degrees of Freemasonry. The United Nations are full of 33rd degree Freemasons, all deceiving humanity, and they put it right in your face. You don't get to the level of fame that Mr. Beast does unless you're, with him. And I'll leave you guys with this. This is a map that hangs inside of the United Nations headquarters. Have a look at this, guys. Have a look at the lands beyond. The truth is always in plain sight. Peace.
You gotta admit, it is a little weird that Antarctica is the only place that our civilization has found world peace. If they can do it there, they can do it anywhere. But are they doing that because it's the doorstep to another civilization? You be the judge.
There is one place on Earth you're forbidden to freely enter, and that place is Antarctica. Now ask yourself, if it's truly nothing more than a massive sheet of ice with a few penguins wandering about, why is it the most heavily restricted land on the planet? Since 1959, over 50 nations, countries that rarely agree on anything, have signed a treaty banning independent exploration. No backpacks, no snowmobiles, no personal expeditions. You will never be allowed to see what lies beyond on your own. Only government-approved missions are permitted, all closely monitored under strict control. But why? Captain James Cook, the legendary British explorer, attempted to circle Antarctica not once, but 3 times. massive ice walls, towering frozen cliffs rising like the edge of a gigantic bowl. Why would a normal continent be surrounded by walls hundreds of feet high, and what could be hidden beyond them? No flights are allowed overhead, no crossings permitted, no independent GPS tracking. It is the only place on Earth where every nation cooperates without question. No wars, no disputes, only complete compliance. So perhaps what lies beneath isn't just snow and scientific research. Maybe Antarctica truly is the bottom of the world, the very edge of everything we know. What we see may only be the frozen surface. What lies buried far below could be something else entirely.
The ice wall, but I went back to that inner Earth hole. I go down this hole, right? And I'm taking a look around, and I wanted to talk to someone who could maybe provide answers about inner Earth and about humanity and about what's going on right now. And I've ended up meeting this being called Nasani, is what she called herself, Nasani, Nasani. She said, "We have the knowledge and wisdom to bring you back to your original DNA blueprints." And then she said, "Before the fall." I was like, "What do you mean the fall? Like, what is the fall?" So I had to ask. She said, "This is fascinating. Take it or leave it, guys. All right, this is just relaying information." So I said, "What was the fall? Or what is the fall? Like, what are you talking about?" And she said, "When codes were inserted to ensure your demise through disease, shortened lifespans, and lack of memory." Let's just take that in for a second, okay? So she is essentially saying that the inner Earth civilization has the original blueprints, right, for humanity's DNA, like our original DNA, and that they have the technology to bring that back in us. But she's also saying that at a certain point in time in human history, they, I guess, either the shadow government or the reptilians or the Dracos or whoever, right, who's kind of been in charge and manipulating, they sort of limited our lifespans, they cut off our memory, and they inserted these codes in order to bring on disease for population management, essentially.
Damn. So when it comes to Antarctica, we always talk about the military restrictions, the peace treaty, and Admiral Byrd. But what if the real secret isn't what they're hiding on top of the ice, but underneath it? What if the inner Earth people actually hold the pristine DNA of our ancestors? And what if they're going to upgrade our DNA and send all the elite Draco reptilian into their bunkers? We can only hope.
I'll rap it until they come and get me, yeah. No question, it's Sodom and Gomorrah.
So this is really how I think it looks. And when they say we're going to Mars and that, I think they're going outside of the ice wall to that Mars. Look, second Earth of clones, Neptune, the Anunnaki, everything's on here. So what if all these areas are under a firmament just like we are? They all have their own suns and moons. This makes sense to me, that if there are aliens, they're coming from the same land, if you will. They're coming from the same plane of existence. That makes perfect sense. I don't believe they come from space. But what do you think?
They are slowly pulling back the secrets of Antarctica, y'all. Scientists said they discovered a land underneath Antarctica, y'all. And they had this information for a while. I'm talking about, they said there are trees, there are ridges, lakes, rivers, and green evergreen grass. So I started thinking, like, y'all had this information for this long and y'all just telling us? And then it make you think. Everybody has their theories on what's going on in Antarctica beyond the ice walls, right? So could we possibly really be right about this? Why are they now telling us that there is a whole underground world underneath Antarctica. All that ice. Why now? Is it something about to happen where we're about to get revealed something deep and dark about Antarctica? Is it because the ice is melting? What is it? What do y'all think? Because they didn't have to come out and tell us anything. So why now? And if they can withhold information like this for this long and tell us, how much information are they withholding from us right now that they didn't tell us? This shit don't mess with y'all mind just to know that it's so many things we don't know, so many things we are not told the truth on. We all know that Antarctica is the most protected place on Earth by every nation around the world. But the question we don't know is, why?
And that's a good question. Why? Why are they telling us now? We've known this. But why are they making it a point to tell us? Are they trying to get ahead of something? Or are they afraid of something?
Because they're not aliens? No. What we call aliens are simply the civilizations living beyond the ice wall of Antarctica. It's not some distant galaxy or a sci-fi fantasy. It's Earth. Right here, hidden in plain sight, but beyond what we're allowed to see. These advanced civilizations have technology so beyond our understanding that when their ships soar through the skies, we mistake them for extraterrestrial craft. But they're not from space. They're from regions on this planet. They're not aliens? No. What we call aliens are simply the civilizations living beyond the ice wall of Antarctica. It's not some distant galaxy or a sci-fi fantasy. It's Earth. Right here, hidden in plain sight, but beyond what we're allowed to see. These advanced civilizations have technology so beyond our understanding that when their ships soar through the skies, we mistake them for extraterrestrial craft. But they're not from space. They're from regions on this planet. They're not aliens? No. What we call aliens are simply the civilizations living beyond the ice wall of Antarctica. It's not some distant
Makes
galaxy
sense.
or a sci-fi.
Earth concept is another one that goes back to ancient times. This is not something new. Underground cities, caverns that are discovered in the earth. I mean, you only have to look at your own mythologies. The trolls, the dwarves, the elves. Where do they all come from? In the Christian world, when you die, there's a ritual of being put back into the earth. Ask any Zuni Indian, ask any Hopi Indian about the Hollow Earth. They know exactly what you're talking about. And in fact, Admiral Byrd from the United States Naval Air Force, right? He flew over entrances to the Hollow Earth and caverns that sometimes go as far as 8 miles down. Literally thousands of miles of ventilated shafts. Eric von Daniken has gone blue in the face trying to expose this. That these are caverns that some of them are not natural, some of them are carved with precision, with laser, tools. And in fact, there was even a prohibition in the Bible about drawing the likeness of any being that came from under the water and from under the earth. Actually, it's in the Ten Commandments even. And you will find that if you go back to Celtic mythology, there are talking about beings that inhabited the Hollow Earth under the earth.
Secret out there is that the history that we've been taught about evolution, about development of humanity, it's all fake, okay? So we have about 10,000 years of human history. That's it. But we know that we Homo sapiens have been around for about 200,000 years, okay? That's the best estimate. So what are we doing for the rest of this time? Okay, that's a question that science has never really answered for us. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two is that we have some archaeological sites that are close to us. Okay, so Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Okay, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. We've only uncovered 5% of all of it, and we have. And so why we haven't uncovered the rest of it? It's not about money issue. It's because the truth will destroy the traditional narrative. Then you have the Amazon in Brazil. And how we're discovering how these ancient civilizations existed in the Amazon before. And also, these ancient civilizations were the ones who actually created the Amazon. Because the Amazon itself is not an organic creation. It was a man-made creation. So if you do, I mean, like if you just work from first principles, what you recognize is that we've probably had civilizations before this, okay, that were destroyed in the Great Flood, okay, or what's technically called the geomagnetic excursion, the magnetic pole excursion, which is say that the magnetic poles, the north and south, they switch every 6,000 years, okay? And when you do that, you change the geography, the topology of the Earth. You cause massive floods, you cause climate change, and these civilizations were destroyed. So we are not part of the first civilization, okay? Another thing is the pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids. We are not able to create the Egyptian pyramids using the technology that we have today, okay? It's incredible to think about how we have the most advanced spaceships and computers, but we're not actually able to recreate the pyramids because we don't have the technology, all right? So I think it's safe to say that there have been other civilizations before us that were also advanced, but in a different way. Okay, maybe rather than focus on the material, they were focused more on the spiritual. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's a greatest secret that the elite refused to allow us to understand. Even Epstein was spending a lot of time looking for Atlantis, right? And like so, the elite understand that there have been past civilizations before, and they spend a lot of time and resources looking for these past civilizations. So why was Stephen Hawking doing Epstein Island? Right. Well, he was part of this search for these lost civilizations. So they understand this, but it's the greatest secret that they want to keep from us because it will destroy everything. Okay. Once we understand that there have been past civilization, everything goes out the door, including evolution, including this material conception of the universe. Okay.
That's wild. Things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail, which again were based on much older source maps that have now been lost to us. The astonishing thing is the so-called Pinkerton world map. It just shows a hole where Antarctica is. A Walsey-Wooller world map drawn in 1530 or thereabouts, you find Antarctica is present. Orontius Phineas map. That map shows Antarctica exactly where it should be. There's Antarctica at the tip of South America, just south of South Africa.
And what did they call it back then?
Well, they call it the Southern Land. And it's larger than it is today, but it was larger than it is today during the Ice Age. Antarctica was a much bigger. Now, what the fuck is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s? To me, the obvious answer is we are dealing with the fingerprints of a lost civilization. The things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820, and yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail, which again were based on much older source maps that have now been lost to us. The astonishing thing is the so-called Pinkerton world map. It just shows a hole where Antarctica is. A Walsey-Wooller world map drawn in 1530 or thereabouts, you find Antarctica is present. Orontius Phineas map. That map shows Antarctica exactly where it should be. There's Antarctica at the tip of South America, just south of South Africa.
And what did they call it back then?
Well, they call it the Southern Land. And it's larger than it is today, but it was larger than it is today during the Ice Age. Antarctica was a much bigger. Now, what the fuck is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s? To me, the obvious answer is we are dealing with the fingerprints of a lost civilization.
If you haven't already got a copy of my new book, Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life, an epic guide to metaphysics and manifestation, you can get that on Amazon today. Links below. Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life. Because if life's a game, there must be cheat codes. Let's find them together as we dive into the next clip. Here we go.
That live beyond the ice wall.
The hell are you talking about?
See, they want you to believe that there's these alien civilizations out in the depths of outer space that may or may not be coming to get you, but it's just a facade. The reality is that there are simply civilizations beyond what we can observe, beyond the ice wall, right here on planet Earth, but just in regions we have been kept from seeing, kept from knowing about. These civilizations beyond the ice wall, as you could imagine, have technology far beyond what we can fathom, and so when they fly above us in their inconceivably advanced ships, we kind of misconstrue it with the idea of quote-unquote aliens from space, when in reality it's just advanced civilizations from Earth. But of course, the oligarchs want you to be scared and have this fear of the great unknown, and so they peddle this narrative about outer space and alien encounter theories. The whole time all of these other advanced beings are right here on Earth.
So they say the Greys are like android robotic aliens, right? What if the Anunnaki, that's like their Tesla bots, and they just send them over? That makes so much more sense than coming from space. But what if they're like literally Tesla robots? What if that's where Elon Musk got the like blueprint for his Tesla robot from the Anunnaki? You never know.
So you're saying there's an entire country we don't know about? What if I told you there's a part of the Earth no one's ever seen? At least, not the people you know. Everyone's stuck believing the Earth is this perfect little globe where sure, you just stroll in a circle, and boom, you're back where you started. Cute idea, right? But tell me, why don't we just cross Antarctica? Oh, right. because nobody ever has. You think it's just this cold, useless slab of ice at the bottom of the world, but that's the lie. Antarctica, it's not just land, it's a wall, a barrier. It locks us inside the tiny part of the Earth we think we know. And what lies beyond, that's where things get interesting. The people in power, they know what's on the other side. They make sure you stay clueless like good little sheep, believing you live on 7 continents. But you've got no idea what's out there. Whole continents. Oceans bigger than the Pacific. And humans who have lived beyond that ice wall for centuries were nothing more than their experiment, caged inside this small, controlled space.
Facts.
That's the real reason no one lets you explore Antarctica. They don't want you wandering too far because once you cross that ice, you'd realize we're not in charge of this world at all.
They're claiming this dude's from beyond the ice wall.
A land beyond the ice wall, and our realm is a prison. Says he was exiled from.
So one thing's for sure, if this dude's from beyond the ice wall, we could safely say they don't have dentists.
The ocean, think of it as a giant lake with all of the continents, okay, as islands.
I can roll with this now.
The shoreline of our world is Antarctica. The foundation of Antarctica is higher than any other continent. Everything that you know is a lie. The United Nations map, Flat Earth map, International Maritime Organization, Flat Earth map, World Meteorological Organization, Flat Earth map, International Civil Aviation Organization.
It makes sense, man.
Control the world. Why do they all have Flat Earth maps? What about this?
Whoa.
This makes sense. What if we live here? What if this is where we live? Right there. These are other ponds with their own suns.
Not a single commercial plane has flown over Antarctica?
No, none, ever.
Whoa,
Now,
why?
Because you can't fly over Antarctica. Look at the Earth. World Cup soccer.
Oh.
Okay? They were in Doha. They wanted to go back to Buenos Aires. They went to Rome to refuel, and then they went back there. Why didn't they just go here? Because if they did, there's no place to refuel out here. On a flat Earth, Doha, Rome, Buenos Aires. So here's an emergency. They were going from New York to Hawaii, right about here, and they said we have to land. So they went to Seattle, which is like 1,000 miles out of the way. They got there in record time. New York, Seattle, Hawaii.
Those flight plans are wild, though.
Who's directing the airlines to construct these flight pathways?
What if I told you there's a lot more to Antarctica than you've ever been told and they're keeping it from you? You see, we were told to believe that Antarctica, that circle, that white circle right here, is the end of where we believe life is, right? So we're inside of that, and those are all of our continents. But the truth is, there's a lot more out there. There was an explorer by the name of Admiral Byrd, and he went over there and he seen shit that he said was crazy. And then they took him out for it. But check this out.
35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
Now, this is where things get weird, because you're telling me that Admiral Byrd claimed that there was more land past Antarctica, and 5 years later, the UN, United Nations, mysteriously assembles together to pass a worldwide treaty banning all travel to Antarctica. People, this is where shit gets weird. As soon as he told Americans in the world that there was more land beyond Antarctica, they all agreed, all these countries agreed for nobody to go over there or be able to go over there. How weird is that? They are hiding something. Since when do countries ever get along? They're all at war all the time about the dumbest shit, but somehow they came to an agreement to keep all of us out of Antarctica. Why? What the fuck is over there that we don't know about? This is another good clip. Check this out.
By his son after his death, Admiral Byrd tells an extraordinary story.
Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance to the center of the Earth through the South Pole. And he took planes into the South, under the South Pole. And when he did that, he discovered that as he flew over the pole, suddenly he's looking at things that shouldn't be there. His squadron flew under the Earth, into the Earth.
It turns into this lush and green area, and he can't even believe his eyes. But that's just the beginning of his extraordinary story.
All I'm saying is that all these countries are keeping something from all of us, and we need to figure out what it is.
And you know how they hide the truth in movies, right? King Kong. Now it's all about inner Earth and stuff. Like, are they trying to tell us something? Is King Kong going to show up? Is that why they build all these bunkers?
When people talk about how they believe the earth is shaped differently than what we've been told, this is probably one of the best representations I've found of what they actually mean. Whenever people talk about theories involving the shape of the earth, a lot of people just assume that they are just flat earthers, but there's a big group of people that believe the earth is simply bigger than what we've been taught or what we think. According to this theory, what we think of as Antarctica isn't an ice continent at the bottom of our world, but instead circling the 6 continents that we live on, similar to what you see in this video. And if you were to make it past Antarctica, you would run into an entirely different group of land masses or continents that we have no clue even exists. It's believed that these different continents have different species and societies based in different eras of time. So for example, one group of continents may have prehistoric creatures while another group has extremely advanced civilizations. This theory also states that these other land masses are where UFOs actually come from, opposed to somewhere deep in outer space. Similar to how we use drones to observe the civilization on North Sentinel Island, UFOs are sent from these other areas to observe us. And the reason we aren't told about the existence of all this is because according to this theory, our 6 continents are owned by a small group of people. While we use paper and digital currencies amongst each other that only has value amongst our 6 continents, this group of people takes the precious metals like gold, silver, and copper and becomes extremely wealthy in the other more advanced civilizations. And as a disclaimer, this is all for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not claiming this is backed by scientific.
That was a wild analogy, but that makes so much sense. Like, they give us paper while they're taking all the precious metals, oil, etc. Bro.
Government may have captured someone from beyond the ice wall.
So the government captured one of these native Antarctic people, or Agarthians as you call them, and interrogated them. They've been studying this rogue country within Antarctica for decades, right? Of course they captured one of the natives. How else were they supposed to get any information on the place? Regardless, the things that they found out in the conversations that followed suit, right, were just, it puts history in a different perspective. Let's put it that way. Wait, they were talking to this person? Well, look, I mean, wouldn't these people speak their own language? Buddy, just because they have their own native language doesn't mean they don't understand others as well. Look, after they detained him, right, they figured he was going to speak in some kind of uninterpretable tongue, so they sent in a linguistic expert by the name of Pete Richards to do the interrogation, right? And so Pete sits there asking him all kinds of different questions, right, about their society, about who they are. But the guy just wouldn't say a thing. He was completely silent, right? Up until the point where Pete pulled out these pictures the agency had taken of this country's pyramids, right? And he sets the picture down as he says, can you tell me about these? The guy didn't really budge, right? Like he didn't want to engage. And so Pete says, listen, we've seen structures like this before. He pulls out an image of the pyramids from ancient Egypt and shows it to him. And for the first time, the guy's expression just completely shifts, right? Like he was seeing something that he'd somehow seen before. And as he's staring at the image, he goes, second. Pete's just shocked this guy had finally spoke, right? And as he's just staring at him, a higher-up agent in the room quickly says, Pete, what the hell's that mean? And with a kind of just wide-eyed, shocked expression of disbelief, Pete says, it's Egyptian.
Hey, weird.
It means old friend.
That's wild.
You know about Buzz Aldrin's experience in Antarctica? In 2016, shortly after arriving, he became seriously unwell and had to be emergency evacuated straight to New Zealand. While he was there, a tweet appeared on his account saying, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself."
Yo, so Buzz Aldrin went to Antarctica, got sick, had like a heart attack or something. Then he tweets that we thawed something out and we're all in danger. In Antarctica, they thawed something out. Like, what could it possibly be? Like Leviathan? Aliens? Who knows?
I don't think that's real.
That's definitely AI, but still cool.
When Captain Cook set sail to find a way around Antarctica in the 1770s, he spent 3 long years circling the southern oceans, covering over 60,000 miles. What he reported wasn't a new passage, but an endless wall of ice, rising higher than any continent on Earth. And still today, Antarctica remains locked away. The Antarctic Treaty, signed by over 50 nations, countries that can't agree on anything else. War, borders, resources. Yet they all stand united to keep the public out of Antarctica. Officially, they say it's to protect penguins. But really, an entire frozen continent sealed off, guarded by the world's militaries, just to safeguard its ecosystem. When they happily turn a blind eye to deforestation and the pollutions of our oceans, yeah, right. Why the no-fly zones? Vast regions completely off limits? Entire areas missing from satellite images, leaving only blank patches. Some reports also speak of massive holes in the ice, and even energy weapons embedded deep beneath the surface. There's also rumors Antarctica is home to numerous hidden bases, not only run by remnants of the Nazis, but shared with alien species as well. And then there's sky ice. Not ordinary ice at all, but a strange crystalline substance. Explorers described it as glowing with a deep electric blue color. Colder than anything we can measure, some believe it's not from this world, but the very fabric of the firmament itself. A piece of the barrier between Earth and the heavens. And let's not forget Admiral Richard E. Byrd, famous for his disclosure of Operation High Jump. He didn't just speak of snow and emptiness. He claimed to have seen lands beyond the pole, green valleys, mountains, mammoths, and even an alien race. Too crazy to believe, but this was a well-respected admiral in the Navy. We haven't even touched upon the images and reports of pyramids buried in the ice, either. Perfect geometric shapes, like the ones in Egypt, but frozen in Antarctica. Who built them? An ancient civilization? Or something far more advanced? And then there's the Lincoln Ellsworth flight in 1935 that still puzzles historians. Just 2,000 miles across the Palmer Peninsula to Little America, yet it took 22 days. If Antarctica were only a compact continent at the bottom of the globe, how could a flight take that long, unless it stretches much further than we're told? So what really lies at the edge of the Earth? An empty desert of ice, or the greatest secret humanity has ever been denied? All we really know is it's a land full of mystery.
Now, I didn't really jump into Hollow Earth this episode, but if you want to see a video on Agartha, throw Agartha in the comments.
We IRL in Antarctica, boys. IRL in Antarctica.
So this dude brought his own Starlink on like an Antarctic cruise.
So you have a Starlink? Yeah. Okay, it's confiscated. You will receive it on the way back. You can't use it on the land? Say again? Can't use it on the land? No. Okay.
Why?
We checked it in biosecurity yesterday and they didn't have a problem really going on, but you're the captain, so it's all yours. Okay. You will receive it in the end of the trip, okay? Okay.
Why?
Cool. It's not such devices, they're not anything that is related to the internet connection, cybersecurity is completely forbidden. Really? So no one's allowed to have a Starlink? Nope. Not even a single piece of internet. Really? On land? That is not the situation. No. Is that for like all of it? I'm just asking questions. I'm not arguing with you. For all of Antarctica? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For all, it's available for all ships. It's not only this ship, all the ships around. And especially this one, we have cybersecurity. We have policies to follow. Unfortunately, we cannot let you. Right, bring it on land. Yeah. And that's for every ship in Antarctica? Yeah, for everybody. Okay. But our procedures, they are very strict, and such devices, they are not allowed, unfortunately. Yeah, no. That's fine. Thank you for informing us. I apologize if there was any issue. I just didn't, I didn't see any problem with it, like online when I was researching and stuff, but you're the captain. Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry for taking you away from your station. No problem. I apologize. Thank you for the understanding. Yeah, no problem.
So they don't want him to have it for security purposes. Cybersecurity? What could they possibly hack in Antarctica if there's nothing there? What's the real reason they didn't want him to have a Starlink or a cell phone? Let me know in the comments.
I want to see this. Stretching off into the horizon, we have one of the largest tabular icebergs currently on our planet. It just keeps going. Something this big is kind of hard to comprehend even when it's right in front of you, but this speaks to how much fresh, frozen water is down in the Southern Ocean. For anyone wanting some perspective, take a look at the birds that are flying next to this thing. It's probably about 200 feet high, and that's just about 50% of what's sticking out of the water. The rest is down below, like an ice wall, drifting through the ocean, currently heading east toward the South Orkney Islands. Kind of wouldn't believe it if...
So that's definitely real. Usually when I see these ice wall videos, I'm like, oh, they're fake right off the bat. But this dude, I mean, that's definitely real. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
The ice wall was never real. It was all an illusion. We've all been fooled. There was no barrier around our continents that prevented us from going anywhere else. There's nothing there. It's completely warm, and we can go sail anywhere we want. This is the Urbano Monte map from 1587. And they drew exactly what they saw back then. This is not just some made-up map. And what we see on the outside of all our continents, what we might think is Antarctica, is actually green. So why was it so warm back then? Well, the truth is, there never was an ice wall, and this is how things have always been. And if you didn't know, there was something called a Little Ice Age from the 1300s to the 1800s. So likely a lot of these continents have actually sank, and there are still portions of these continents that are still there, probably most of it. So we can literally just go sail there and find out what's over there. There's nothing that's stopping us. The government can't have everyone they can't have like 1,000 or 10,000 soldiers stationed throughout every spot. So they're just trying to fool us and make us think that there's nothing left. When in reality, we can just go sail there and literally no one's gonna stop us. This is the only real part of Antarctica. The rest of it is completely made up. This is where they have the geographic North Pole. This is where they have little islands surrounding it where you can go travel there on like a $30,000 cruise. You're not going to an actual huge icy continent. That's not even real. They're just going to some small little island which has the blood falls, which I know you've seen before. Do I have to explain this again? This is obviously a dead carcass of like a giant leviathan or a dragon, maybe even a dinosaur that's thawing out. This is blood coming from it, not just like water mixed with iron. Besides, iron is in blood. It's one of the main ingredients to make it that color. So this is the only place you're going on vacation, just the carcass of a dead leviathan. And this section is the Ross Ice Shelf, which is just part of one of the other continents, which is warm. And it's only cold on this part because it's just a floating mass of ice that is surrounding the area. It's just floating through. So guys, it turns out we don't even have to sail past like in between two ice walls and find the perfect opening. We can just go around the little ice cubes, the icebergs that are floating around, and go to these new continents and then find out what's over there. Most likely it's probably just the same thing as our lands, so we'd have to go even past those ones. Like, it's probably just like Torrid and Terenza, with people accidentally flying to our continents by mistake and not knowing what's going on, then they just get evacuated out of there.
That was a good point. There are a lot of maps that show Antarctica thawed out.
Have you remote viewed Antarctica yet?
Oh, I have. And that's where another remote viewer kicked me out.
Oh.
Like, he found me and I was like...
Yeah, they don't mess around there.
They do not mess around there. I was sort of just, floating down this hallway, right, in my astral body. And then there was this really big, and the way that I see other remote viewers is it would be like an outline of a human body, but transparent, like kind of like a ghostly shape almost. Anyway, so he was really big and like tall and also wide, and he was floating down the hallway towards me. And I was confused because I've never seen another remote viewer. Like, I've never been seen before at that point. And so he looks at me and he goes like this, and he goes, and he kicks, like pushes me energetically way outside of the base. And all of a sudden, like, I'm now outside. And I was just confused. And so what I did was I cloaked myself, which essentially is putting like an invisibility cloak around your astral body. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depends on their consciousness level. And I went back into the base. So I stepped in behind him, and with any remote viewer, you have a grounding cord, and that grounding cord leads the astral body back to the physical body. So what I did was I followed this guy's grounding cord down the hall, so behind him, and then I went into this tiny room, like we're talking very small room, and there was 2 men in military fatigues, and both of them in these military fatigues were like this. They were slumped over. And so in that moment, I realized, oh, these are their remote viewers. So they're sitting in the base physically, and then they're patrolling the base astrally. And that was my first experience learning that, okay, I got to be careful because I can't just go anywhere and do whatever I want.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's definitely the wildest remote viewing story I've ever heard in my life. But you definitely don't want to get your soul thrown into remote viewer jail, because who knows if you'll ever get out. So are we looking at the edge of a flat world bounded by a giant ice wall? Or is Antarctica just the roof to a thriving ancient civilization? Why do ancient maps show Antarctica as an ice-free continent teeming with rivers if it was supposed to be frozen for millions of years? Are the elites building bunkers to escape earthquakes and weather phenomenon? Or are they building bunkers to escape what's coming when the ice melts? Is humanity finally about to get their DNA upgraded while the global elites get the permanent boot to the basement? We can only hope. Drop your theories below. This is Jtali Reacts, where we're decoding the simulation one reaction at a time. If you want to unlock the cheat codes to life, smash subscribe. As always, I'm Jtali. This is Jtali Reacts, and we out.
Jtali. I manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question.